Good morning, Captain Blaine Larson, Sioux Falls Police Department. Just going to give you a recap on this weekend's events with the shooting on North Cliff Avenue. As you're aware, there was a shooting Saturday afternoon at 1:07 p.m. in the afternoon. It was in the 100 block of North Cliff Avenue. On the east side of the road there's some apartment complexes. It was actually in those parking lots there. The initial call was gunshots call. When we originally arrived on scene, there was one male down who was treated by EMS. Two of the males had been transported away from the scene by other means. Someone known to them had taken them to area hospitals. So we just initially were aware of the one. Information quickly came in from the hospitals that there was two other gunshot victims. As you're aware, the hospitals then went into a lockdown procedure themselves while we were trying to figure out what we all had and the extent of the incident. Getting into the investigation a little bit, we're still trying to figure a lot of the pieces out, so I'll give you what we know so far. That afternoon, it looks like there was a group of about 8 males that had come to the apartment complex. It looks like they were coming to get involved in some kind of altercation with someone that was at the apartment complex. This guy that they came to have the altercation with, we don't think he's a resident there. We don't know how they knew he was there. We don't know what their connection is or what even brought him there. There's some speculation. It might be some kind of a social media thing, or they may have had an altercation the day before. There was a big altercation over in the 1000 block of East 3rd on Friday, the 7th, before all this incident in the afternoon, where we believe some of these same folks may have been involved in that. In that particular call, there was also reports of a man chasing another man with a gun and several people in the neighborhood. Nothing ever came of that. There was no shots fired on the Friday incident, but this may all be tied into that. We're still trying to figure that out. So when this group of 8 males arrives on scene in the 100 block of North Cliff, looks like one male goes into one of the apartment complexes, and we don't know the extent of what he was doing in there, or if he's provoking someone, or what actually happens inside the apartment. He comes out, he's pacing in the parking lot. We have some video from the area that we've obtained that gives us a real good snapshot on what happened. Suddenly a male comes out of this complex brandishing a firearm, and he immediately starts shooting at the 8 males that are already present out in the parking lot. It looks like he gets 3 hits in on people. 2 of the males that get shot drop right there in the parking lot. A third is able to run away, and of the other males, they also all scatter running to the west across Cliff Avenue. At this point in time, we believe we've identified 5 of the 8, but there's still 3 males that went to that scene that we're not even sure who they are at this point in time. So we're looking for more information on that. Immediately after the shooting, the person in question, who's described as a black male with long dreadlocks, gets into a 2000 Buick Park Avenue. I'll give you the vehicles and persons at the end here. But he gets into the passenger seat of a vehicle that's parked in the parking lot, and it's driven by a black female. They exit the parking lot and they go southbound on Cliff Avenue. It's shortly thereafter that of the 2 males that are still in the lot, one is loaded up in a car and taken to an area hospital. We arrive shortly after to attend to the last victim that's still there. When we went there, as we're trying to determine what had all happened and what it all went down with all the involved parties, we were able to get some license plates. That's where we were able to get this initial video and give us kind of a snapshot of what was going on. We can tell you that there was some drugs involved in this as well. I don't think it was the primary factor, but we know drugs were a factor. And what I'll do now is I'll give you well, first of all, I'll give you an update on the 3 victims that were shot. 1 male was shot in the head, and 2 males were shot with torso shots. The male that was shot in the head is still in an area hospital, and he's stable. we're not releasing their names. The second male that was shot in the torso has already been released from the hospital over the weekend. And the third male that was shot in the torso, he died this morning. So this has actually turned into a homicide investigation. And I'll go ahead and give you his name, of that gentleman that passed this morning. His name is Larry Eugene Carr, C-A-R-R, Jr., and he's a 42-year-old Sioux Falls resident. We were notified shortly after 6 a.m. this morning of his passing. As part of this investigation, the Sioux Falls Police Department are looking for 3 persons of interest related to this case. First being Ramon, R-A-M-O-N, Darren, D-E-R-O-N, Smith. Ramon is a 34-year-old black male, 6 foot, 207 pounds. He has long dreadlocks. He's believed to have left the area, maybe en route to Chicago or Minneapolis. He has connections in both cities. We believe that was him probably getting into that Buick that left the scene that was put out. We're also looking for his sister, who is Martece, that's M-A-R-T-E-C-E, Arielle, A-R-I-E-L-L-E, Sadler, S-A-D-D-L-E-R. She is a 30-year-old black female. She's 5'4", 225 pounds. And finally, the third party we're looking for is Christina Haney, H-A-N-E-Y. She's a 22-year-old black female. Both Sadler and Haney are Sioux Falls residents.
How do you spell Christina?
C-H-R-I-S-T-I-N-A.
Did you have an agent description for her?
Yep, she's 22-year-old black female, 5'6", 145.
Does Smith have a residence? You said there are connections to Chicago and LA, or does he have a address?
Smith is not a local guy. We're not really sure why he was in town. We believe it's something related to his sister Martece, helping her move or something to that effect. Again, that stuff we're sorting out. I'll just give you kind of a snapshot. You know, this all happened at 1 o'clock and on Saturday afternoon, and I can tell you the investigations team, including narcotics officers, as well as members of the state's attorney's office, were in all day Saturday, most of the night, and then all day Sunday trying to put these pieces together, trying to figure out who all the parties are. And a lot of that is still going on. There's still interviews going on today. We're working on some paperwork related to those 3 persons of interest. That'll probably come out later today as far as some type of warrants possibly. But again, those are discussions we're having right now with the state's attorney's office, who's been involved throughout this process. I also wanted to put out 3 vehicles related to this incident. That Buick that left the scene initially, it's a 2000 black Buick Park Avenue 4-door, South Dakota license 1AP416. We'd really like to locate that vehicle. That might still be in the area. We're not so sure he left in that vehicle. It could still be in Sioux Falls. Also a 2000 Ford F-150 Super Cab pickup truck, blue in color. The license plate on that is 1T as in Tom 5565. That vehicle loaded up one of the victims from the shooting and took him to an area hospital. So we'd like to visit with that individual. And finally, Christina Haney, when she left the area, she left in a 2007 white Mercedes GL. It's got South Dakota personalized plates, URMYY. We believe Haney is driving that vehicle now. That also could be en route to, could be in that Minnesota area. She's also got connections in the Omaha area.
So do you believe these people have left town?
Yes, I believe all 3 of them are probably gone right now.
You mentioned that drugs might be involved. Do you know what
Cocaine.
And a good amount or unknown or?
No, not a large amount.
Were they using cocaine at the time?
We don't know. They're missing.
And what type of weapon was used, do you know?
A semi-auto handgun. And we believe we know what kind. We're examining some casings and doing some of our ballistics testing.
But you haven't found the weapon?
No.
And one other housekeeping, can you give us, I don't think you gave us the ages of the other victims. Can you do that?
Sure.
That are still in the hospital, or one's out of the hospital?
Oh, ages of the other victims? No, I don't have that handy. They're both in that 30 range. Sam can send that out in my update.
Do you believe that these people all knew each other? I mean, obviously the siblings did, but the victims and the shooters?
That is another piece we're trying to put together. Again, there's a chance they may not know each other. This guy we're looking for, you know, he's not a Sioux Falls resident, so they may have had some minor knowledge of each other, but we don't think so.
Did the social media thing, do you have any more information about that?
Just very little. Some early indicators were there might have been some back and forth between some of these involved parties on social media, and we're not even familiar with what platform or to what degree that was. So some of our folks are looking into that.
So basically, maybe messaging back and forth?
Yes, yes.
What can the public do for you?
Well, again, causes us concern because this was in the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday, and you know, all they can do is keep an eye out for those vehicles. They may be in town, other than the white Mercedes. The pickup might still be around here in that Park Avenue. If you see any persons matching this, or especially this is a large group of people that were involved, and everybody's talking about what happened. And I'll be honest, most of the people involved in this, they're not being overly cooperative with us. That includes the victims in this. So it makes it real challenging for law enforcement to figure out who's all involved when people aren't willing to be forthcoming. But we'd love to figure out anyone that has any information on this, or if you have a friend that told you all about what he saw or how he was involved in the shooting, call Crime Stoppers. You can do it anonymously, but we'd like to figure out who these other individuals were, or get confirmation on some of the things we believe we already know as far as names and involved. And citizens out there probably have a little more backstory of what might be going on with this group.
Do you believe this is gang related?
We don't know yet, possibly. So again, we'll send out more updates today as far as some of these warrants we're talking about. And I sent Sam a list of those vehicles. I knew that was a lot of information with the names. I'll add the ages of those other two victims in that as well.
Can you talk about just, this is now a homicide investigation, it's a shooting in daylight in nice Sioux Falls. The gravity of this, and you guys are taking this very seriously, and this is a big deal for Sioux Falls.
It's a big deal, and I can tell you, our street crimes unit, they've also, from our patrol side, we've had a few in recent weeks on this North Cliff Avenue kind of has a nexus between the 900 block, over Ann Sullivan School, kind of that area. And I know our patrol team has focused a lot of efforts as of recently, really pounding those areas. Before this shooting happened, like literally within 20 seconds, a police car drove by on video. Driving from the south going north. So it's just a great example. In some cases, these guys just don't care, because here an officer just drove by there, and literally within 20 or 30 seconds, this big gunfight happens. So just stay vigilant. Call us when you see something that don't look right.
How many shots were fired? Do you know that? How many shells?
We don't know for sure how many. We're thinking probably in the area of a half dozen, give or take.